Hi, my name's Erin Odell. I'm a middle school math instructional coach here in Beaver Creek, Ohio. I'm excited to tell you about how our teachers are using AI in their classrooms with their students. I think it's important to note that I am recording this video and sharing it with you in July of 2025. I think that's so important to share because we all know how rapidly AI is developing and there's just new things coming out every day. So I want to start by telling you about some of my favorite places to learn more and get resources. I'm a part of a Google education group called Gold EDU. It's a wealth of resources for tech coaches, instructional coaches, anybody who's into ed leadership. Stephanie Howell is the champion of this Google group, and she has recently started working with School AI. So there's a lot coming through that channel. You can join the Google group. I do want to let you know you get a lot of emails from this Google group. Again, all really important information, but if I was a classroom teacher, this might overwhelm me. So there's ways to set up filters so that you get like more of a weekly update, but please be warned that the volume is just as great as the content of this Google group. So that's just one place I go to for resources. Another place I go are some of my ed tech gurus. You may have heard of them. Eric Kurtz is a ed tech guru here in Ohio who operates Control Alt Achieve and is one of my favorites. If you'd like to just subscribe, I'm going to show you his site. All about ed tech. So many things on here, and you can subscribe to the newsletter to get his emails as well. He has an entire tab on AI, but so many resources here. I recently was able to attend an AI summit where Eric Kurtz really made me fall in love with Brisk. I'm not sure if you've heard of Brisk, but it's a little bit like a magic school in my opinion, but really like it for utilizing it with our students. One thing I love about Eric Kurtz is the way that he shares his resources. So I want to show you his resources for Brisk. He lays out his PD agendas in a format that has everything linked and complete with a table of contents. This is a general walkthrough of Brisk. How to get the Chrome extension is all spelled out here. And he has a lot of information about Brisk. What teachers in our district are using, or I'm excited for them to use, is Brisk's Boost feature. So this is what I would say is very comparable to like a magic school in getting AI in your students' daily lessons. What is important in our district is, if I scroll down here, is how we share this with our students. So we want to make sure that we are following data privacy, and Brisk has one that is one in our district that has been approved with for student use, because you're sharing this like you would a Kahoot. The kids would get a link posted to maybe Google Classroom. They could scan a QR code. They could go to the site and put in a unique code. Our students aren't signing into this, they're just accessing it through one of those measures. So this one is approved for student use. I want to show you how our teachers would be using this. I've just pulled up a copy of a page of notes. Once you have the extension, you're going to have this brisk button here. And when you open that, you kind of see why I keep referring it to like a magic school. You have some different tools available to you. Almost could be compared to a Diffit because you could change the reading level if you'd like to. So if I went to create here, here's all of those tools that you'll find in a lot of the other AI platforms. Everything from writing IEP goals, an MTSS plan, a lesson plan, some of those usual AI time savers. What I want to show you specifically is the Boost student activity, because this is how our teachers are having our students interact with AI. So here's all the way that you could boost an activity by providing like a personal tutor. You could help to generate a hook to get attention, lots of different ways. There's also a writing coach that we're excited to use more and learn more about. Feedback, which that feedback loop is so important, and AI is a real game changer with providing that meaningful feedback in a timely manner. So what I've used and loved is the assess. So you have these pulse checks that you can generate. A check for understanding. You can generate an exit ticket right from the activity. So you can change the prompt if you like, set the grade level, and then when you hit next, you can brisk it. Pretty clever. So when you brisk the activity, boost the activity, then you're going to see it here. Notice I'm just using the free version. Now here's where you can copy this link and post it to Classroom. Here's your code that you need, and then you have the ability to monitor the activity. I'm going to go back to this PD resource where you can see what you can do when you monitor. From your side of it, you're going to see the list of your students. You're going to see their progress on each objective, which is really nice because then you can touch base with the kids who haven't filled their checkmark bubble saying, okay, they're getting it. Their check for understanding's complete. They've mastered the skill. Or if they're not filling those green check marks, you know who to check in with. There's also a way for the kids to signal that they need help through the activity versus like raising their hand or calling out. You are always able to see their chat if they're chatting with like the writing coach or the tutor. And what I really love is it's great about flagging if any inappropriate content is in the chat. So you don't have to read through every single one. It's telling you, ooh, you need to take a look here. You can also download the chat if ever needed. So that's what's really helpful. So if I want to, let's see if I can show you how this is going. So when I share that link, here the kids are going to see what I'm pulling this from. This is the original resource. Here's their exit ticket. They'll say, let's go. So brisk. So here's my preview of the activity. So these are the learning objectives, and you'll see as I go how these bubbles are filled. From the teacher's end, I'm going to see a list of all my students. You're going to see where they are and their progress of meeting those 3 objectives. So as I go through here, here's the problem that I was given. I'm just going to type in the answer. Notice it asked me what steps will you take to find the answer, and I didn't put anything there. So it's telling me, great job, you got the answer right. Can you explain the steps you took to solve the problem? Well, this might be a lot for a student to type out. It also might be a lot for the students to read. So you're going to notice that it will read it to me. and then I can actually talk back to it. I knew first I needed to solve what was in parentheses. Next, I multiplied, and then I took 3 plus 18 to get my final answer. And then I can submit that. And it's telling me that I followed the order of operations. You can see here in my learning objectives that what I have filled, and then I still haven't obtained this one. But that's just an example of how you can use that exit ticket, have your students engaged with AI, providing that instant feedback and getting those checks for understanding for yourself. On the teacher end, I'm seeing that this student, me, was able to do those first 2 objectives. I can view their entire chat, what they were asked. So a lot of power within Brisk and boosting it. Eric Kurtz in this PD agenda, if you scroll up to the top, has lots of sample chat bots. Here is some real world math on the area of a triangle. So Eric Kurtz created this template and has shared it so that I can use it. Students would watch this source video on area of a rectangle. After watching the video, they're going to interact with a chat bot to prove that they've met these 4 learning objectives. Eric Kurtz created this using Brisk Boost. Under the Engage tab, there's a tool called Real World Math. So let's go and I'll show you how this works. So Brisk is going to ask me a question. I could listen to it. I could read it. I showed you how you could just type in your answer. You can do speech to text. But what's really cool, especially in math, is I can attach a photo. So I'm going to attach a photo of my work. My work includes a rectangle. And let's see how Brisk Boost responds to this, knowing that I'm really looking at area of a triangle. So when I come back up here, it says, from the image, it looks like you've worked on finding the area of a rectangle. Now let's challenge you with a triangle problem. So it's read my work, and now it's asking me, redirecting me back to the triangle, giving me the formula, and starting off with, what would you do first? So it is really sophisticated and a great tool to use. So hopefully I've convinced you to love Eric Kurtz as much as I do. Check him out, subscribe to his newsletter. Another newsletter that I love getting is from Matt Miller of Ditch That Textbook. I wanted to show you an example of Matt Miller's Ditch That Textbook newsletter, which is emailed twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays. So much available, whether you're a classroom teacher, an ed tech leader, whatever your role, you'll find lots available. Heavy AI focus here. This particular newsletter features Google's huge AI upgrades to Classroom. So right in Classroom, you're going to have a new Gemini tab. This is basically like Magic School all in one place. So I'm really excited about our teachers using Notebook LM more this year. I'll show you how we're using that later in the video. Also, GEMS are coming soon to students. These are custom AI bots. Sounds a lot like school AI to me. So if you open your Google Classroom, you're now going to see this Gemini tab, and here are all of those AI tools for teachers to use in their classroom. So really excited about this being implemented right in Classroom, but really want to encourage you to sign up for Matt Miller's email newsletters because it's a great source for information. I want to share with you a little bit about Notebook LM. The staff in our district are loving the uses of Notebook. It's Google's research assistant. It's a total game changer when it comes to summarizing survey data or student assessment data. When uploading any student assessment data, we're very careful to delete any identifiable information, even student name. So teachers assign like a number, or even using our district ID because that's unique, we can upload it with that. But you are easily able to identify strengths and weaknesses from assessment data to help you inform your instruction. If you want to upload pre-test information, it's great for generating groups for differentiation. Our teachers are also using it as a way for students to study. You can create interactive podcasts to use as study guides, post those audio files right to Google Classroom, and students have multiple ways then to study for upcoming tests. So let me show you how this works. You can create a notebook by uploading your source files. We always choose PDFs. So I'm going to upload a chapter from our 8th grade science book. It normally takes a few minutes, so let me show you what this looks like. Once I have it uploaded, the students get this chat, starting with a brief summary, and then they can just start asking questions. There's questions there for them to choose from, so that they can interact. You can listen to an audio interview. You could do a mind map of the material, so understanding the field model. I can go over here. What are some electromagnetic forces? And I can just keep clicking and clicking to learn more and more. Another great tool is it can formulate a study guide where you kind of get like a short quiz and then it provides the answers. The FAQ sheet has questions and answers right there together. But what we're really loving is the podcast that it can create. So you can quickly load a podcast conversation. It's 2 hosts. I wish you could hear it, but for some reason I can't get it to record while I'm recording. But you can listen to 2 hosts that sound like true podcasts, humans interacting, saying things like and it's just very natural and easy to listen to. Another thing our students like is they often like to change the playback speed and listen to it at a speed that they can really ingest the information in a quick enough time for it to be worth their while. So you can just download this or share it to your Google Classroom. It's an amazing tool to have. So another way that we're using this is to help us to summarize surveys. We recently gave a survey to staff and students in both middle schools. We're talking over 2,000 survey responses, and in just a matter of minutes of uploading those survey responses without that identifiable information, we're able to get a chat that we can interact with. I could ask, what is the #1 student complaint? Our survey obviously didn't ask the question right like that, but in just a matter of seconds, it's generating that answer for me. It will even cite specific student surveys, and I have that answer right here. Again, questions that I can ask. What we really love is the briefing doc. So right here, I've loaded that already. And I get all of these main themes. And I have saved our committee the time of digging through and compiling these themes, and we can just take action quicker. So a really powerful tool that we are really enjoying. And you can see as our committee interacted with this, all of our questions and responses are saved right here in your note. So again, one that we're really loving. I wanted to show you how our math department is using large language AI models like ChatGPT, Claude, and Google Gemini. As AI tools have rolled out, math teachers especially have been like, how is this ever going to benefit me or my students? So one thing that we've been using our AI models for is to help us generate questions. We're using practices from Building Thinking Classrooms. So if you've heard of that, one of the practices is to generate check your understanding questions in the form of mild, medium, and spicy. So I'm going to start here in ChatGPT, asking for help creating a worksheet with leveled questions on factoring quadratic expressions. So if you've heard of BTC, great. If you're not, just stick with me. What I want to show you is in just a click of a button, I have this worksheet with instructions, my 3 different levels, answer keys, and some additional notes. If I wanted to edit this, I could copy and paste into Word or Docs. But one of the pain points that you're going to see is that when you do so, you're losing your math text. So you're going to have to edit to get all of your exponents back. Let me show you what this looks like in Google Gemini. I started with the same prompt. Here it is. And I'm getting a really good looking worksheet with instructions. It has spots to show my work, give my final answer in factored form, and then I even see hints throughout this. So along with the answer key, I have some tips that I can share with students. But again, if I were to share and export this to Docs, you're going to see that this worksheet no longer has the exponents. So I'm going to have to take some time editing that, but I can clean it up, and it's a start for me for sure. The thing I wanted to show you in Google Gemini is a powerful tool that's really exciting for helping our students to study for tests, which I know is a pain point for many of us. So Google Gemini asked me if they wanted them to create a quiz. So I said yes, and when I opened this quiz, I get a 10-question quiz. As I select the right answer, it's telling me why it's right. It's giving me the explanation. If I select the wrong answer, I get an explanation along with being shown the right answer and why it's correct. So that as I take this test, at the very end, it's going to give me a little recap. I only attempted 2 questions and skipped 8, but it would provide highlights and focus areas and give you the choice whether you want to review this quiz or make a new quiz. So Gemini is part of the Google suite of apps. So depending on your school district's permissions, this is an exciting tool to help our students study. I personally love Claude. I think that Claude produces the best artifacts. So for example, I gave Claude that same prompt, and here's the worksheet that it gave me. I felt like this worksheet had a lot of questions, so to use it, I asked Claude to please only use 3 to 5 questions in each level. So when I got that version, it's down to just 5 in each level. But what I love most about Claude is once I work with the AI model to get the version that I like, then when I go to copy, I can save this as a PDF, and as a math teacher, I don't lose that math text. It's right there ready for me to print, so I'm just working with Claude to get it print ready. Another AI tool that has been really well received in our district is Curipod. Curipod is an interactive presentation tool that teachers can use to curify lessons they already have made, or they can use Curipod's AI generator to create a lesson from scratch, from a simple prompt or inputting a standard. Curipod's features polls, word clouds, drawing prompts, open-ended questions. And as students respond to those questions, they're getting feedback on their writing. So teachers are creating these slide decks. Students access them through a code, much like a Kahoot. So this has been approved in our district for student use because students don't have to create an account. They're simply using that code that their teacher provides. And then with it being teacher-paced, the teacher can see student responses in real time. They can also see the feedback that AI is generating for their responses. And then they can use this to guide discussion. They can use particular students' work to share with the class. And you're able to adapt your instruction on the fly as you need. Also, after a lesson, the teacher receives reports that will tell them more about participation and check for understanding. So a really amazing tool. Let me show you what it looks like. So you can generate lessons by adding something you've already created. So you can upload a presentation like a PowerPoint, a PDF, something from your Google Drive. Or you can just start with a prompt. You can put anything in there and generate a full lesson. I'm going to go home and show you one that I've already uploaded. So this was a slide deck that one of my 8th grade social studies teachers had created. I put it in here, and I'm going to edit that. You can see that Curipod AI can edit it for you, or you can use the manual edit. So I was working to take one of my slides where I just had an essential question, and instead of just posing it and asking my students to respond, I can have them input their answers and receive AI feedback. So when I selected to add that slide, I put in my question: what problems did the government face under the Article of Confederation? I'm going to give my students a minute to respond to this. I told it that it's a social studies short answer. And then check this out. You can test the feedback. So I put in, there was no one to hold citizens to the laws. And then this is what the AI will respond to me. So it's pretty great to be able to test it as you're creating it. And then I can just delete this slide now that I have it as a more interactive slide deck. So to add activities, I was able to go through, add open-ended questions. I was able to, you can add drawings. I used the polling feature to add some true and false questions to my slide deck. And then I'm going to get analytics about all of my students' responses. I love CuraPod's preview feature. You really get a grasp of what your students are seeing and doing versus what you have on your classroom screen. So let's take some time to, so as the student, I would be going to Curie.live and entering my PIN. I join. Here's my nickname, so I know that's me. And then I'm going to provide my real name for my teacher. Teachers can start as soon as all of their students are in. And then as my teacher is going through their slide deck, I'm given the screen that shows it's happening on the big screen. I need to be paying attention to my teacher. They're doing some direct instruction lecturing. And then as the teacher goes through these slides, they're going to get to those interactive slides that I created. Oh, there was one. Here's the one, what problems did the government face under the Articles of Confederation? It's not going to show up on my student's screen until I start the activity. That's when I can start putting in my answers. I'll submit that. I'm not going to get anything until my teacher ends the activity. So I could continue editing when I look up and I say, ooh, or as a teacher, I can add more time if my students need it. As the teacher, when I end the activity, then I can give the feedback to my students. They're getting their feedback. I can be clicking here to hide a response maybe that I don't want to see, or I could open it to highlight somebody's response. Also, there is where you're seeing what the AI feedback is. And kids are learning so much from the feedback alone about the content that's covered. So a really exciting tool to have. As I go through polls, my students would reply to the question. You'd get that feedback and their responses. I also want to show you what an open-ended question looks like. Here's an open-ended question. Why would the delegates want to hold their meetings in secret? And then I can put in my response. And then when the teacher ends the activity, it starts a vote. So they're able to see everybody's responses. They don't know who's who, but then I get the opportunity to vote on what I think the best answer is. And then as a class, we're able to talk about those top 3 answers in more detail. So really cool interactive features to increase engagement and make your slide decks interactive and get those real-time data pieces about check for understanding, participation. Just a really cool tool to use to enhance what our teachers are already using. I hope you've come across some new AI tools that you're excited to use in your classroom. I wanted to make sure you can access this presentation, so please use this bit.ly so that you have all of the links I provided. I hope you'll subscribe to some of the resources I shared so that we can together stay in the know of all that's new in AI. Feel free to reach out to me with any questions or comments. Thanks for watching.